You're standing in front of the 2025 pet food aisle, and every label seems to shout at you. Indoor, hairball, grain-free, weight control. In reality, a single right decision can help your cat drink more water, poop more comfortably, grow a shinier coat, and stay emotionally steady. While one rush choice can drain your wallet and still make the royal one turned away from the bowl. Today, I've made you a clear map, a comprehensive roundup and ranking of the most well-reviewed and popular cat food brands of 2025, separated by the US, Europe, UK, and Asia, so you can leave the shelf feeling confident. If you like guidance that's evidence-based, clear, and usable tonight, hit subscribe right now, so every can of wet food and every kibble you put in the bowl becomes a true health investment for Luna or Milo. And here's a small open loop. At the end of the video, I'll give you a super simple Kcal portion formula and a 10-second label read trick. Just one glance at the back of the package tells you whether to buy it or put it back. You'll also get a 2025 brand comparison table that condenses pros, cons, popularity, and picky eater friendliness for you to save and use long term. The core of feline nutrition hasn't changed much. Cats are obligate carnivores, so a sensible diet typically means high animal protein, enough fat to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, low carbohydrates, and crucially, plenty of moisture. What gives you a headache is the label matrix, AAFCO or FEDIAF, complete or complementary, indoor, hairball, weight control. So my thesis is straightforward. Instead of chasing ads, anchor on 3 pillars. First, a clearly printed, complete and balanced statement for the correct life stage. Second, named animal proteins among the first few ingredients. And third, pairing wet and dry by Kcal, not by volume. From this foundation, we'll move into the brand lists by region, covering sensory notes, strengths and watchouts, value per 100 Kcal, and popularity so you can pick the #1 candidate for your situation. To make choosing easier, I've grouped brands into 3 price tiers across 3 major regions. In each region, the order from frontrunner to strong contenders reflects a balance of nutrition, cost per 100 Kcal, popularity, and real-world experience, palatability, and batch consistency. Treat this as a shopping map. Your compass is still the 3 pillars from part 2. Animal protein up front, moisture from wet food, and a clearly labeled complete and balanced formula for the correct life stage. US market, Americas. Budget tier. The frontrunner here is Purina One Plus Indoor Advantage Dry. The formula clearly names poultry protein sources, adds fibers to help manage hairballs and weight, and has a very wide retail availability. A consideration is the carbohydrate runs medium to high compared to premium lines, so it works best when backed by wet food as the base. The runner-up is IAM's Proactive Health Indoor Dry. Strong pricing, beet pulp to help move hairballs, and basic vitamin E and minerals. Weaknesses are similar to Purina One, still a more starch-leaning than premium, so don't skip the wet base. If your cat is picky but you need to protect your budget, Fancy Fest Classic Pâté Wet is a palatability star worth trying. High moisture, many flavors, and easy to use as a hydration-boosting base. Just make sure you pick the complete formulas and don't confuse them with complementary items. Mid-range. When you want a tidy, technically sound formula for long-term stability, Hill's Science Diet Indoor Dry is a highly engineered choice. Prebiotic fibers and an antioxidant complex plus multiple life stage variants, so you don't have to make abrupt changes as your cat ages. For discerning diners, Made by Nacho minced in bone broth in wet scores with a soft mince texture, bone broth for extra moisture, and a diverse menu. Chicken, salmon, and halibut, turkey, and liver. The trade-off is a higher price per Kcal, and some cats don't love the mince texture at first. Transition slowly, mixing over 7 to 10 days. Premium. If your goal is very high animal protein and low carbs, Origin Original in Dry is a heavyweight. The whole prey approach and freeze-dried liver coating boosts flavor. Because it's calorie-dense, transition slowly and watch stool and energy to avoid overdoing it. Open Farm, dry, wet, and fresh, stands out for traceability and responsible sourcing. ideal for families prioritizing clean labels and comfortable with higher pricing and online purchasing. Want a premium wet base with very low carb, very high moisture? Consider Weruva or Kcal wet lines as your base, then sprinkle in a modest amount of quality drive to hit your Kcal target.
Europe UK market. Budget tier. Among meat-forward wet foods at friendly prices, Anamonda carni wet is frequently named. High animal ingredient content, many grain-free flavors, and a clearly meaty appearance. Note the pâté texture. Most cats like it, but a few gravy team cats may not. Running close is Bozita Tetra wet. Stable Swedish reputation, no added sugars, and transparent labeling. Occasionally, the Nordic bold aroma makes some cats hesitate, and availability varies by country. Mid-range. If you want a formula in tune with feline preferences to boost acceptance, Royal Canin Adult Instinctive Wet is a safe bet. Easy to digest, easy to eat, and offered in many variants by age or need, 7+, hair or skin, etc. For those who prefer transparent meat and offal declarations and a clear, complete label, Lily's Kitchen Wet Dry is a convincing counterpart. Strong sensory quality without flashy additives. Both share the classic mid-range EU drawback, higher price per 100 gram than supermarket options. Premium or organic. Craving an HFC-like ingredient experience in wet. Almo Nature Complete lines can be worth it. Just read carefully to distinguish complete SKUs from complementary ones under the same umbrella. If EU organic certification and sustainability are priorities, Yara Organic Wet Dry fits the bill. Shared caution. EU premium options are clean and polished, but may offer fewer ultra-tempting flavors than mass-market brands. You can pair 1 or 2 easy flavors as a lure when switching. Asia market. Budget tier. For covering the basics, easy to find, budget-friendly, Smart Heart Dry or Wet is a straightforward pick. Meets AAFCO standards and is widely available at pet shops and supermarkets. Mio Dry or Wet is similarly common, with large bag sizes convenient for multi-cat homes. In China, Go Bobo Dry or Wet, Kitten or Adult is a notable local star. Low price, domestic fish and chicken proteins, and booming sales. All three, Smart Heart, Mio, and Go Bobo, are best used as supporting kibble. Make your moist base from complete wet foods to increase water intake. Mid-range. When you need wet foods that are easy to eat with a clear, complete label, Singapore's KitKat Wet Complete lines shines. Many grain-free recipes, diverse flavors, and good for picky cats. AAFCO JP Complete lines delivers a signature made-in-Japan experience. Fragrant, soft, readily accepted. Crucially, check labels carefully because AAFCO's SKU map is huge and includes many complementary products intended only as toppers. Premium. At the top of Asia's pyramid, Ziwi Peak air-dried or wet exemplifies very high meat content and very low carbs. It's calorie-dense, so always transition slowly and portion precisely by Kcal. Farmina, N&D, dry or wet, balances high animal protein with a low glycemic philosophy across multiple lines. Prime, pumpkin, quinoa, great if you want premium yet flexible flavors. Both pair easily with mid-range wet bases to optimize cost per Kcal while maintaining nutritional standards. Don't forget, once you've chosen a brand, lock in a feeding method with wet as the base and dry as support by Kcal. Track the litter box, coat quality, and energy levels to fine-tune by 5 to 10% every 1 to 2 weeks. And here's our channel's familiar retention line. Don't leave yet. Up next, we'll untangle AAFCO versus FEDIAF, separate complete from complementary, debunk harmful myths, and give you a principal 1-second label read template for your kitchen cabinet.
You pick up a can of food and flip it over. The line complete and balanced for life stage under AAFCO US or FEDIAF EU is the passport for using it as the primary diet. Without that line, the product is only a complementary/topper/treat, tasty, good for variety and appetite, but deficient if fed alone long term. Both AAFCO and FEDIAF set minimum maximum micronutrient thresholds for each life stage. kittens, adult cats, and queens that are pregnant or lactating. A product can qualify via 2 routes. 1, balancing to meet nutrient profiles, or 2, passing feeding trials. Both are valid. What you need to see is a clear, complete statement printed on the label. Why do I always prioritize wet food as the base? Physiologically, cats are innate low-thirst creatures. They don't proactively drink enough like dogs. Instead, water should come from the meal itself. A wet ration with 70 to 80% water increases urine volume and dilution, reducing strain on the urinary tract. A quiet benefit you often notice only when the litter box is cleaner, the odor is milder, and the royal one strains less. Dry food still has excellent roles in convenience, stability, easy Kcal dosing, and a wide range of formulas: indoor, hairball, weight control. But let's be frank, most kibble cannot replace toothbrushing. Only a few lines with official dental accreditation truly reduce plaque. If you once believed kibble cleans teeth, consider this a major misconception corrected. How does the 10-second label read work in real life? Picture yourself at the shelf. Your eyes skim the first 3 lines. They should be named animal proteins such as chicken, turkey, salmon. You scan down for taurine, non-negotiable for cats. You find the complete and balanced statement for the correct life stage: kitten, gestation, lactation, adult maintenance, or all life stages. Then you quickly sweep the additive list to avoid artificial colors or flavors and controversial preservatives. Propylene glycol is something you do not want to see in cat food. Finally, you mentally estimate carbohydrates. Take 100 and subtract protein, fat, fiber, moisture, and ash. Assume about 9 to 10%. The lesser that number, the closer it is to the species' body language. As for portioning by Kcal, the thing that decides whether your cat is satisfied or underfed, it's very concise. RER approximately equal to 70 times ideal body weight in kilograms to the power of 0.75. From RER, multiply by the appropriate factor, neutered low-activity adults about times 1.2 to 1.4, supervised weight loss about times 0.8 to 1.0, and growing kittens about 2.0 to 2.5. Convert that daily Kcal into grams or cans based on the label's Kcal per 100 gram dry or can per pouch wet. After 1 to 2 weeks, observe body condition score, BCS, coat, stool, energy, and urine to adjust plus or minus 10%. That's feeding by data, not by feel. If the royal one has underlying conditions, urinary stones, kidney disease, IBD, obesity, diabetes, don't self-jump to grain-free, low magnesium, or any therapeutic line. These cases require prescription diets and veterinary monitoring. Sometimes a small change in the wet-dry ratio or daily Kcal makes a big difference, but it must fit within a treatment plan, not guesswork. One of the most persistent misconceptions is that grain-free is always better. The truth is, cats need quality animal protein and the right amino acid profile more than they need grains eliminated. Starch at a reasonable proportion in complete formulas does not automatically make a diet bad. What decides things is the overall formulation and whether your cat digests it well. Similarly, dry food cleans teeth is a feel-good story, but impractical. Without dental accreditation, kibble offers very little help against plaque. Toothbrushes, gels, and approved chews are the real tools. Byproducts are also often unfairly blamed. Many organ parts carry valuable micronutrients. What you need is manufacturer transparency and control standards, not rejecting ingredients just because of their names. And don't rush to think that the higher the protein, the better. The protein source, bioavailability, and the health context such as obesity or GI disease are the keys. Common mistakes usually come from haste. Many people switch foods overnight and are surprised with vomiting or diarrhea. The fix is a 7 to 10 day transition, 25%, then 50%, 75%, and finally 100% of the new formula. Some measure portions by the bowl instead of by the Kcal on the label. You only need 3 steps. Calculate resting energy requirement, multiply by the appropriate life stage or activity factor, then convert to grams or cans based on Kcal per 100 grams or can per pouch. Quite a few households let toppers or treats exceed 10% of daily energy and throw the diet off. The simple rule is to stay below that threshold or switch to toppers labeled complete if you want to use more. And finally, sticking to a single flavor all year makes many cats pickier over time. The smart approach is to rotate protein sources within the same family of complete formulas, so it's both safe and varied. In short, picture an ordinary evening. You open a complete wet can with a gentle aroma, you sprinkle a small amount of quality dry to hit the day's Kcal target, you note the royal one's weight, stool, and energy in a single line. Repeat that simple routine for a few weeks, and you'll see a glossier coat, a milder smelling litter box, a more relaxed gait, and your wallet will also stop evaporating on impulse choices. If your cat has underlying disease, urinary stones, chronic kidney disease, IBD, obesity, diabetes, coordinate with your veterinarian and prescription diets. Don't self-apply labels like grain-free, low magnesium without a diagnosis.
Often a cat's happiness comes from the simplest things. A clean bowl, a fragrant tender can of wet food, a few kibbles measured just right, and a human friend willing to read the back of the package carefully. Every choice you make today, a brand suited to your region, a formula matched to the correct life stage, a wet-dry pairing by Kcal, adds up to sun-drenched afternoon naps, easy bathroom trips, and a coat that speaks for itself. When you see Luna or Milo curl up and sleep peacefully, you will understand. Feeding right isn't a grand project. It's small gestures repeated consistently and done precisely. To finish the last stretch cleanly, just keep a few key points in mind. Use complete wet food as the base and quality dry food as support by Kcal, not by volume. The first 3 lines of the ingredient list should be clearly named animal proteins. The label should carry a complete and balanced statement for the correct life stage along with taurine. Within the options you have, the lower the estimated carbohydrates, the better. When switching foods, follow a 7 to 10 day transition and observe stool, urine, coat, and energy to adjust up or down by 5 to 10%. If your wallet is the priority, pair a budget or mid-range wet base with a small portion of premium dry to raise protein quality while staying on budget. If today's suggestions and the rankings in Part 3 helped you spend less time in front of the pet food aisle, leave a like so the algorithm can bring Eat Right to Live Well to more cats. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the valuable updates we'll share, and tell us in the comments which brand from the US, Europe, or UK lists suits your cat best. And have you tried pairing wet and dry by Kcal yet? A gentle reminder, our team works alongside a veterinarian. If your royal one shows unusual signs such as straining or blood in the urine, prolonged vomiting, rapid weight loss, or refusing food for more than 24 hours, comment below. We'll review and support you as soon as possible. In an emergency, please take your pet to a clinic immediately.